Sometimes in life, we come across stories that make us stop and think, how can someone who doesn't even want to be rich end up becoming wealthier than everyone else? And if you think about it deeply, that question alone already pulls you into the life of Abdurrahman ibn Auf, a companion of the Prophet Muhammad who tried to keep his distance from wealth, yet wealth chased him like a loyal shadow that refused to go away. His story begins long before the fame, long before the caravans of gold and camels, long before people spoke about him with admiration. Back in the early days of Mecca, the city was alive with the sound of traders bargaining, the dusty smell of the desert wind, and the constant movement of caravans passing through. Imagine yourself walking through that busy marketplace. Colorful fabrics hanging from stalls, dates stacked neatly, spices filling the air with their sharp scent, and merchants calling out their prices as customers passed by. In that vibrant scene stood a young man whose name carried weight not because of wealth, but because of character, Abdurrahman ibn Auf. Even before he accepted Islam, he was known for his honesty and sharp business sense. He wasn't the type who tried to impress people. He didn't need to. His reputation spoke for itself. People trusted him because he never cheated anyone. If he bought something, he paid fairly. If he sold something, he didn't exaggerate its value. He was the kind of merchant who made you feel safe doing business with him, and that alone made him stand out. But everything changed when he embraced Islam. His priorities shifted. The world, which once seemed important, now felt small compared to faith. And wealth? It wasn't something he despised, but he simply no longer chased it. He wanted something higher, something more meaningful, the pleasure of Allah. It's strange, isn't it? Many people work hard to be rich, but here was a man who worked hard not to let wealth control him. That is the beginning of why his story feels different. Fast forward to the time of Hijrah, the migration to Medina. Think of how difficult that must have been. Leaving behind your home, your business, your land, your extended family, everything you built with your own effort. Abdurrahman arrived in Medina with absolutely nothing. His hands were empty, but his heart was full of faith. Many people would have felt overwhelmed, maybe even hopeless. Imagine losing everything you've ever owned in one night. Some would cry, some would break down, and some would complain. But not him. Instead, he approached life in Medina with a calm and optimistic attitude. When the Prophet paired immigrants with the people of Medina so they could support each other, the man who was paired with him offered half of his wealth, half of his home, and even half of his business. It was an unbelievable act of generosity, the kind you rarely see today. Most people would be overjoyed to receive such an offer, but Abdurrahman, with his gentle smile, declined politely. He didn't want to live off someone else's success. Then came the sentence that marked the beginning of his journey. "Show me where the marketplace is." Just think about it. No complaining, no "I've lost everything," no waiting for help, just pure determination. He believed that as long as he had two hands and the ability to think, he could start again from zero. And that mindset alone is already a treasure. When he arrived at the market, he didn't rush into buying or selling. He observed. He watched how people traded, what products moved quickly, what items were scarce. He studied the market quietly, like a student learning a new subject. Then he began with something small, trading simple goods, buying and selling items that didn't require big capital. He didn't try to be fancy. He didn't try to dominate the market. He just started humbly. But there was always something different about him. While other merchants might cheat a little, raise prices unfairly, or hide flaws in their goods, Abdurrahman didn't play those games. His honesty remained the same as it had always been, and that honesty became his magnet. As days went by, people noticed that whenever they dealt with him, they felt comfortable. They knew he wouldn't lie. They knew he wouldn't take advantage of them. In a market full of competition, trust became the rarest commodity, and he had plenty of it. One thing about trust is that it spreads. A customer tells another customer, "Go to him, he's honest." And that new customer tells another. Within a short time, Abdurrahman became known in Medina not just as a merchant, but as the merchant people preferred to deal with. His business grew, but not because he pushed it. It grew because he nurtured it with fairness. Imagine watching him walk home after a day at the market. He wasn't the richest man yet, but he was building something bigger than wealth. He was building a reputation. And a strong reputation is something money can't buy. It's something only character can create. The beauty of this story is that nothing dramatic or flashy happens. There are no moments of sudden luck, no hidden treasure, no miraculous gold falling from the sky. Everything that happened to Abdurrahman came from qualities that anyone can practice: honesty, effort, patience, and a heart free from greed.
Days turned into weeks, and the marketplace of Medina slowly became the place where Abdurrahman ibn Auf shaped his new life. He didn't have a grand strategy, a huge starting capital, or a perfect plan. What he did have was consistency. Every morning he arrived early. Every evening he left the market with gratitude. Sometimes with profit, sometimes with only enough, but always with a peaceful heart. Little by little, people started to recognize him. His smile was easy, his words were gentle, and his business style was simple. But the most striking thing was how he treated people. When someone couldn't pay the full price, he didn't embarrass them. When a customer asked honestly about quality, he told them the truth, even if it meant losing the sale. When he bought goods from suppliers, he paid immediately. No delays, no excuses. People loved dealing with him because he made business feel human, not stressful. Soon, stories about him spread throughout the marketplace. "Go buy from him," one customer would say. "He sells fairly." Others added, "He doesn't cheat. He speaks softly. His prices are honest." In a world where profit often comes from pressure or manipulation, someone who chose fairness was refreshing. What happened next was a quiet miracle. Because trusted merchants are rare, people naturally came back to him again and again. His stall became busier. More suppliers wanted to work with him. They knew if they brought him quality goods, he would pay properly and sell them properly. And when trust grows, so does opportunity. One day, after a particularly successful week, Abdurrahman earned a significant amount of money. It wasn't a fortune yet, but it was more than he had seen since arriving in Medina. When he received that profit, something interesting happened. While most people might have celebrated or invested it into expanding their business, Abdurrahman did something that confused many. He gave a large portion of it away. He didn't announce it loudly. He didn't stand in the marketplace and shout about it. He simply looked for those in need, quietly offering support with a warm heart. To him, profit wasn't something to accumulate, it was something to purify. Every time he earned big, he felt a responsibility to give big. This habit didn't make him poorer. In fact, something strange kept happening. The more he gave, the more Allah replaced it. Some days, he would give away almost everything he had earned, and the next day, opportunities would appear out of nowhere, new customers, new business chances, or new trading routes. It was as if the wealth he gave away returned to him through different doors. As his business continued to grow, Abdurrahman kept one principle that shaped everything he touched. Blessings are more valuable than numbers. He believed that money earned through unfairness might be bigger, but money earned through honesty felt lighter, sweeter, more peaceful. And peace was something he valued deeply. There were moments in the marketplace when people tried to negotiate in ways that would harm him, but instead of arguing, he stayed calm. If the price wasn't fair, he simply walked away. If someone tried to trick him, he responded with dignity. He knew that his worth didn't come from winning every negotiation, but from maintaining integrity. As the months passed, he grew into one of the most respected merchants in Medina. Yet, he never changed his behavior. He still dressed simply. He still avoided showing off. His wealth expanded, but his character stayed the same. One particular moment revealed his heart more clearly than any other. A large caravan returned to Medina carrying goods, food, cloth, animals, and more. Traders rushed to buy items, hoping to make a profit. Abdurrahman was there too, watching quietly. When he saw a group of orphans standing aside, looking hungry and tired, he approached them with kindness. Without hesitation, he bought food and shared it with them. Even though he had business to attend to, he chose compassion over profit. And that small act made people admire him even more. He lived by a simple truth. Wealth is a tool. If used well, it brings goodness. If used selfishly, it becomes a burden. Because of his generosity, his name became a symbol of trust. If someone partnered with him, they felt safe. If someone borrowed from him, he didn't pressure them harshly. If a traveler needed help, he extended his hand. People who met him said the same thing again and again. He treats wealth like something temporary, not something that defines him. But the most profound part of this chapter of his life wasn't just his business success. It was his relationship with wealth. Every time he became richer, he became more afraid. Not afraid of poverty, but afraid that the rewards for his good deeds were being given to him too early, in this world instead of the next. He once said words that surprised many. "I fear that Allah is giving me all my rewards here, and I'll have nothing left in the hereafter." To hear a man surrounded by wealth speak like that was shocking. Most people fear losing money. He feared gaining too much. This fear didn't make him withdraw from business. Instead, it made him more careful, more generous, and more spiritual. He used wealth the way a traveler uses water, wisely, gratefully, and without attachment. With every rise in his income, he increased his giving. With every new caravan he acquired, he dedicated part of it to charity. With every successful deal, he paused and reminded himself that it wasn't his skill alone, but the blessings from Allah that made everything possible. And because of that sincerity, Allah kept opening more doors. Customers who had never spoken to him before approached him. Caravans from far regions sought him for partnership. People trusted him because they felt his heart before they saw his wealth. That kind of trust can't be bought, only earned. By the end of this stage of his life, something amazing had happened. Without chasing wealth, without manipulating anyone, without greed, he had grown into one of the most successful merchants in the entire city. And yet, he still prayed for simplicity. He still wished not to be tested with too much. But life had other plans. His journey wasn't over. Wealth had only begun to follow him. And the greatest lessons of his life were still waiting in the next chapter.
As the years passed, Abdurrahman ibn Auf became a man whose name was mentioned with both respect and amazement. People saw the way he walked through the marketplace, calm, humble, never showing off. If someone had never met him, they wouldn't guess he was one of the wealthiest men in Medina. He didn't dress like someone who lived in luxury. He didn't behave like someone who wanted attention. He blended in so naturally that only those who knew him well understood the depth of his generosity and the size of his blessings. What made his story even more unusual was the way he viewed his wealth. Many people want to have more, to collect more, to secure more. But Abdurrahman wanted something different. He wanted to keep his heart clean from the love of money. He didn't hate wealth, he just didn't want it to take root in his heart. And because of this sincere fear, he kept giving and giving, as if he was trying to outrun the riches that kept following him. There were days when caravans arrived in Medina, carrying hundreds of camels loaded with food, goods, cloth, and supplies. These caravans belonged to him. When people saw them entering the city, they would murmur to each other in amazement. "This must belong to Abdurrahman," they would say. When the dust settled and the animals came to rest, the marketplace buzzed with excitement, because the arrival of his caravans often signaled fair prices and honest trade. Yet even in the face of such massive wealth, he never let pride enter his heart. Whenever he earned big profits, the first thought that entered his mind wasn't, "How can I grow this?" but rather, "Who needs this more than I do?" It was a mindset that puzzled many. It was as if the more he owned, the more afraid he became. His fear wasn't irrational. It wasn't fear of losing wealth or becoming poor. It was the fear of becoming distant from Allah. He didn't want success in this world to take away from success in the next. That fear softened his heart and kept him grounded. It made him cautious, careful, and deeply aware of the responsibility that came with every coin he touched. One story from his life shows just how powerful this mindset was. A huge caravan of his once arrived in Medina, around 700 camels loaded with precious goods. The city was filled with whispers. Even the wife of the Prophet heard it and said, "A caravan belonging to Abdurrahman has entered the city." When he heard that she had mentioned his name, he didn't feel proud. Instead, he felt worry wash over him like a wave. He said, "I hope all this is not giving me my reward in this life."
After that, he immediately distributed a large portion of the goods to the poor and needy. This reaction surprised many people around him. They didn't understand how someone could look at 700 camels and feel fear, not joy. But to Abdurrahman, the danger wasn't poverty. It was the possibility of becoming attached to wealth or using it for something other than goodness. Even though he had everything a man could wish for, prosperous business, respected name, loyal friends, he often lived simply. He ate modestly. He slept on ordinary bedding. He avoided extravagance even when he could easily afford it. His house was comfortable but never excessive. When he looked at his wealth, he saw it as a test, not a trophy. There were moments when he would sit alone and reflect, not on the gold he owned, not on the camels he possessed, but on the blessings he feared might be too much for him. Sometimes he would whisper, "I wish I could carry less of this." It wasn't that he didn't appreciate what Allah gave him. He appreciated it deeply, but he wanted to make sure he didn't misuse what he had been trusted with. His life taught people around him that real richness isn't measured by how much you have, but how lightly you carry it. When someone brought him news that a stranger needed help, he responded immediately. When a widow or orphan was struggling, he didn't wait for a formal request. He simply acted. And when the community needed support, he was always among the first to step forward. People often asked him why he was so generous. He had a simple answer: "I give so that my wealth doesn't own me." And that's exactly what happened. His heart remained free, even as his possessions multiplied. One of the most touching things about his life was how deeply the Prophet loved him. The Prophet once said that Abdurrahman would enter paradise crawling. This wasn't because he lacked faith, but because his wealth would hold him back, not because of guilt, but because of the weight of the responsibility placed upon him. When Abdurrahman heard this, he didn't feel insulted. He felt awakened. He understood that wealth wasn't something to enjoy, it was something he would be accountable for. From that moment on, he increased his giving even more. His later years were filled with moments that revealed his heart even more clearly. Despite his wealth, he remained soft, he remained gentle, and he remained someone who could be approached by anyone. Rich or poor, young or old, everyone felt comfortable coming to him. His home became a place of support. His wealth became a tool of healing. His life became a reminder that true success is not about hoarding blessings, but sharing them. When he grew older and weaker, people visited him often. They expected to meet a man who was proud of his achievements, but instead they met a man who humbled them with his humility. He looked at the world with wisdom, knowing that everything he had was temporary. One day, he said something simple but profound. He said that he feared that he had been delayed by his wealth. He wasn't afraid of death. He wasn't afraid of losing anything. He was afraid that his attachment to this world might slow his journey to the next. But people who loved him reassured him. They told him, "You have given more than most people ever could. You have helped more than anyone can count." And they were right. His legacy wasn't his caravans. It wasn't his gold. It wasn't the huge properties he owned. His legacy was the hearts he touched, the people he lifted, and the lessons he left behind. When he finally returned to his Creator, the entire city of Medina felt the loss. Not because they lost a wealthy man,
but because they lost a man whose kindness lit their lives. His wealth remained behind, but his goodness went with him. In the end, his story teaches us something simple but powerful. Wealth is not the enemy. The enemy is when we let wealth control our hearts. Abdurrahman ibn Auf became one of the richest men in history, but he never allowed his riches to define him. He treated wealth like a passing guest, welcome but never allowed to stay too long in his heart. And maybe that's why wealth kept coming to him, because he wasn't chasing it. He was chasing goodness. And when someone chases goodness sincerely, blessings find their way to them, quietly, gently, and endlessly.